Firing shots, high caliber round. If you know what's best, then you better get down. Shots, high caliber round. If you know what's best, then you better get down. Down.
People don't like to talk, only the text. Many times they give up on each other, gone next. Fear being cast out, not that complex. We only need to realize and need embodies back for us and not build a barrier around ourselves. Same ideology for writing many tracks. Give one point that would say otherwise. It's only in a discipline and not a bigger price. So when I touch you, you cry on my shoulder. This might be the biggest showdown in myself. Not trying to pull ya, but all these ideas in my head are getting me to falter. Oh, you sending me a big paragraph thing. Complaints I made when I left home, red fair and square. Yeah, I guess I'm alright now. Drenching my mind in the alcohol and everything is blessed.
All my energy is placed in my time in the energy. If you don't like the way I think, don't need to be in love with me. Try to fix my mind and the habits should be using me. All there in the way I say, cause I know that you embellish me. Tripping on my love, but I don't feel the same way. I'm sorry, baby, go ahead and kill me. You ripped out all the segments of my soul, cause you need me. With that, I'm still here distracted by the same
you cry on my shoulder. This might be the biggest showdown in myself. Not trying to pull ya, but all these ideas in my head are getting me to falter. Oh, you sending me a big paragraph thing. Complaints I made when I left home, red fair and square. Yeah, I guess I'm alright now. Drenching my mind in the alcohol and everything is blessed. Why's it always seem like I'm moving backwards? Caught up in a dream, everybody's actors. Why's it always seem like people change faces and nothing is real? Oh yeah. And you know I've seen better days. Yeah, you know I've been through some things. Yeah, I've been sending prayers through the roof. Oh, truth. Yeah. Don't need all the answers, just tell me what life is for. One day I'ma wake up with a reaper at the door. Don't need all the answers, just say anything at all. I've been praying for a minute, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, don't need all the answers, just tell me what life is for. One day I'ma wake up with a reaper at the door. Don't need all the answers, just say anything at all. I've been praying for a minute, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, yeah. I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been praying for a minute, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been so patient with you, don't you know? I've been so down with you, and you know it. You never come around, and I show it. Just give me one chance right now, and I won't blow it. I won't blow it. Oh. And you know I've seen better days. Yeah, you know I've been through some things. Yeah, I've been sending prayers through the roof. Oh, truth. Yeah. Don't need all the answers, just tell me what life is for. One day I'ma wake up with a reaper at the door. Don't need all the answers, just say anything at all. I've been praying for a minute, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, don't need all the answers, just tell me what life is for. One day I'ma wake up with a reaper at the door. Don't need all the answers, just say anything at all. I've been praying for a minute, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been waiting on you. Yeah, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been waiting on your call. Been waiting on your call right now. I wanna hear your voice somehow. Yeah. I've been waiting on your call. Oh.
Hey,
Let's get connected.
connected. Let me be the calm when it get hectic. Let me be the one knowing you left it. Connected. Let's just hit the plug and get connected. Feel it through your body, don't want my lecture.
If you feel
The way I do.
go make your move.
'Cause I need you to help me for the night. So
Feel
the way I do.
go make your move.
'Cause I need you.
with your body, give me clarity. I can tell the way you move and how you scare me. I'm obsessed with the way you caress me. I undress you with my eyes and you bless me. I confess my love and affection. I'm blinded by all the imperfection. Recognize the dark in your perfection. Can't wait to make you my selection. North side, let's get connected. West side, let's get connected. East side, let's get connected. South side, let's get connected. Worldwide, let's get connected. Local side, let's get connected. Online, let's disconnect it. Offline, let's get connected.
Let's get connected. The way I do. Cause I need you to help me for the nights through. The way I do. Cause I need you to
I need you. North side, let's get connected. West side, let's get connected. East side, let's get connected. South side, let's get connected. Worldwide, let's get connected. Local side, let's get connected. Online, let's disconnect it. Offline, let's get connected.
It's gonna go 3 games. I'm sure that's what Angel told me. We are here and ready to go with some Division 1 Valorant. Week number 2 is on the rise, and I'm very excited to see what exactly goes down here today, as 2 teams that are still scrapping for their first victory of the split are gonna go at it head to head. My name is Orbital, with me is Ancient Angel, and we will be your broadcast team for this upcoming BO3. Angel, how you doing?
We really had to open with me predicting it's going to go 3.5. That is true. Nonetheless, I'll stand by it. It's St. Clair versus Ohio State in the best of 3. It is our 3rd of 4 best of 3s here in week 2 of the spring split. And like you mentioned, it's teams kind of trying to look for a fresh start, right? It's the first week or second week of 2026 here in Division 1, but chance for a first win. And I think that's going to be the most important thing, especially for both of these teams, more specifically for St. Clair, which, you know, has an important roster change that we need to talk about, but as well for Ohio State, which, you know, for all the meta changes that have happened in the offseason, it seems like they should be having a better first couple of weeks here. So only positives in week 2.
Yeah, they are hoping to get things on the ball here a little bit, considering, you know, it has been a little bit rough to start. And let's go ahead and start with the big eye-opener. For St. Clair, you kind of alluded to it, but we have had a slight roster change. Taiga, who is coming in as kind of the star player, will unfortunately not be playing this week. And it's a rough start because, again, when you lose a major core of your firepower, it is a rough time.
Yeah, and it's not only this week, right? It's the rest of the semester. He is unfortunately inactive for the spring split as a whole. So when we talk about this St. Clair team, you know, the big narrative for them in the fall was really, okay, who are the 5 players for this team, right? We saw periods where Jazzy was on this team. We saw Abrux, also from the GC roster of St. Clair, step in and play a couple weeks. And, you know, you have this kind of core of Tillo, Instinct, and JP. That's great. They're all phenomenal players. Seth slots in as kind of this emergency player who also functions as their coach. And then you had Taiga, who is an excellent piece of firepower to this team. Well, now Taiga's out of the starting lineup. So who are you going to have on a week-to-week basis to fill in that missing firepower? That's what we're talking about when we talk about bullets versus balance, right? Who's going to step in to not play the same agents, but keep those kills on the board for St. Clair?
Yeah, and they need to keep it strong here. Nobody likes to start off the season at an 0-2 sprint. They do have a couple other players stepping in. I believe Wadi as well as Jazzy are listed on the roster, and we've yet, you and I were actually discussing, we were still waiting a little bit to see exactly who will be stepping in, and it does look like it is Wadi stepping in here. So
Yeah.
Wadi, someone that we haven't really seen so far, will be stepping in as a little bit of a flex, depending if you're rounding out, I believe, listed as a primarily Sentinel in there. If they do decide to run it, especially with the map build that we have, it'll be interesting to see how they slot. With that being said, though, we do have another team on the horizon that you are also interested to watch for, and just to see if they can bounce back from the previous week. We got Ohio State rocking in here.
Yeah, and the big thing about Ohio State, I mean, it's been Ohio State's entire thing since last split, since the fall. It's been Dez, right? You can see him, the gun show over there on the end for Ohio State. I mean, he's been the guy to look at for this team. We talk about how a lot of Ohio State's wins and really good performances are from this guy, but it's not to shy away from players like Pat and like Waldy who can step up in moments to kind of supplement those rounds and play off of Dez's openings really, really well. And we talk about what he was able to do against St. Clair in the fall split, right? It was really about the first kills, which aren't listed here, but I'm pretty sure he went +7 on the map where Ohio State took St. Clair to overtime, which was Corrode last split. And that alone, +7 on your first duels, is insane. The headshot rate has been looking pretty good. Really what we want to see from him this week is an increase across the board in the kills, the ACS, and the ADR to really cement himself as this premier duelist in Division 1, which we expect him to be by all means.
Yeah, and we want to see him step even further forward come this split, being able to shell out, being able to frag out, like you mentioned. However, they may have to do it with a little bit weaker stance. I know you noticed in there, they also had a blink spot on the roster graphic. The reason being is ISO is actually stepping in here. And from what I know, Isoto is stepping in as a substitute. I'm curious to see if there was some kind of complications in there, but I will say whenever you have a sub or someone that is not as comfortable on the starting roster side, it always draws my eye a little bit. Even if we have the stars stepping in here, where does the sub actually impact, especially in a matchup like this one, where both are seen as somewhat contenders. They each have kind of their own mountains to climb, and it's just another rut in that climb there, where you're just like, dang, we were hoping to have that great start, and now we have to, you know, play with someone that maybe we're not as familiar with. Do we assume that is going to happen? As taking a look, we are getting some of those previous matches here. And I like seeing some of these highlights coming out of Des, of course. Just another highlight reel there.
Oh, yeah. And that's what he was in this map. He was the highlight reel machine for Ohio State to really give them an edge. And, you know, we talk about Isotopic Hero, right? The kind of substitute player, the new addition to this Ohio State team. And I don't necessarily think he's a bad addition by any means. The big thing that you're looking for from this Ohio State squad is... you want more consistency, especially on the attacking side, right? You can't just live and die by the Dez. You have to get some better calling in there. And while it looks great on Corrode, and the calling is absolutely down and flawless on Corrode, you need to see that extended to other maps, right? It was Ohio State's big problem last semester, was the depth of their map pool. We saw glimpses of what they were supposed to be of this team that could contend into the top 4 at any given day. But this is your chance to prove it, right? A lot of those problem maps no longer in the pool, right? We talk about Lotus, gone, out of the pool. It was a map where they couldn't win an attacking round to save their life. But now here we are. It's out of the pool. You're much more comfortable. We can talk about maps in just a little bit, I'm pretty sure. And I think that's really going to spark a conversation about what the performances look like from both these teams today.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. We'll pull them up here. They just completed it a little bit ago, and I'm sure some of these maps will be more exciting than others. We got Breeze to start. St. Clair's pick moving into Corrode as that secondary. So already getting a little mix in there. Finally, the decider will be that Haven side, but for Haven, I don't know if we're too excited there. It's the Breeze and Corrode that really pique our interest.
Yeah, and it's really this Corrode that you have to watch out for from Ohio State. And I do genuinely mean this. Out of the 8 teams in Division 1, Ohio State is one of the 2 best teams at Corrode, and I don't know if they're 1 or 2. That's how good this Corrode really is from them. And it's an absolute punish pick from them, right? The fact that they're this good on this map, unless you're explicitly having Corrode as your permaban, you're going to have to face Ohio State on this map. They're that confident and they're that good at it. The question mark to me really is in the form of Breeze. I don't know if we have a good idea as to what this Ohio State Breeze is going to look like in full. And so that does give me a little bit of concern. I'm interested to see what that looks like from them as we move into the series, and once we get into Agent Select, I'm kind of intrigued to see what that ends up looking like. But when we talk about Corrode, because that's where a lot of the focus is going to be, that's the map where Ohio State took St. Clair to overtime in the fall when St. Clair was looking primed to be the 2nd best team in Division 1. And they ended up making it to the finals in the fall split playoffs. And that was such a key pivotal moment. But now here we are. It's the spring. Things are different. Shrug.
Yeah, shoulders up at the very end, and we'll see how they can throw it down. But I am looking, and I want to make sure that the teams are looking at this game by game. A lot of the time, we are looking a little bit more forward, looking at the history and the pedigree of the teams themselves. But when it comes down to teams that have already kind of taken a loss in there, I really do hope that they take it map by map. You look forward and you say, hey, played them in the past, but this split is the new season. And as you said, looking at the front lines for St. Clair as well as Ohio State, I want to see what they can put down. For Breeze, big question marks are abound. I do believe we saw that it is going to be, I want to say, attack side to start up for St. Clair. I want to double check that at the end, but I think it is, yes, St. Clair will be on the attacking side. Do we expect to see more of this aggression come out on that attacking side? We've seen some teams actually start favoring double duelists pretty heavily, but in terms of St. Clair, where are you hoping they start within the comp wise?
My fear for St. Clair is really about Instinct, and that's not to say that Instinct is a bad player. In fact, it's really the exact opposite. Instinct is a phenomenal duelist, right? We talk about guys who are top 5 in their position. Instinct is one of them, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the Yoru, which we do get. The thing that I'm happy about for St. Clair is they are going to that double duelist with JP on the Jet. And this is a guy, when we talked about JP specifically, one thing we highlighted back in the fall was that chamber from him. He's such a dynamic opper, such a good presence to have. So putting him on the Jet, a character that's also super good with that operator, super able to move around the map, be mobile, make plays when he needs to, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Instinct. In a similar way, over on Ohio State, you can see it's almost the exact same comp. The only difference is instead of the Jet, it's the Waylay for Dez. Everything else is the exact same, and that's really to show just how good Dez is on this Waylay. This is a comfort pick for him. He is strong on this character regardless of the fact that it may or may not be the meta.
I think when it comes to that, I'll be really keeping eyes. At the same time, for Breeze, it's always been a little bit more apparent with a lot of these faster paced, faster moving duelists in there. To round out on the support lines, as you said, the Astra making a huge comeback as of recent patches, really lining up. Sotillo as well as Bot will be running those on opposite sides. We got the Sovas to go ahead and help with entry on Wadi and Waldy, the W's bringing it on in, and then the Vipers to play with by Seth and Isotopic. These two will be looking to control a lot of that site for for Ohio State. I really do hope they're ready to put on their dance shoes, because you're looking at that almost mirror matchup.
Yeah, and the, I guess, good thing about this Astra coming in is it gives you a lot of flexibility with these comps, right? We saw it all the way back in 2024 when Breeze was still in the map pool, and you would see Astra actually be picked up on this map, and you would see some very interesting plays that were run between Yoru and Astra, and that's why you'll still see this composition used to this day, is how well they play off of each other, especially with how big the map is and how much ground Yoru can cover on his own. what I'm really interested in terms of outside of the JP Dez matchup that we talked about is the battle of the W Sovas, right? Wadi and Waldy both coming into this with, I think, different responsibilities in terms of their voice in the team. I think Waldy for Ohio State has a bit more of a calling presence for the Buckeyes, but on the side of the Saints, right, it gives Wadi a bit more freedom to play his own game, and you're going to see that a lot more, especially on the defense when it comes to how Wadi chooses to play on sites. But you know, for this attack, which St. Clair is starting on, a lot of your focus has to be on JP and how much pressure he can take away from Instinct. Because the more pressure you take away from your Yoru, the better your Yoru can do his job and absolutely tear through those sites.
Yeah, give them a lot of space. Make sure that they match up with Instinct on that Yoru. We've seen Yorus also give a lot of information. So if JP is allowed to kind of blossom into this more duelist-centric role, I agree. It'll be fun to watch for, especially hanging into Corrode, because you know Ohio State will bring in a lot of that pain. Are we expecting anything? I know you called for 3 maps, Angel, and I'm curious now, after looking at the comps here, do we still see that happen? I know map 1s are not exactly the greatest indicator if we're going to a map 3 or not, but are we enjoying what we're seeing so far, especially for teams that are looking for victory?
When you talk about name value, right, St. Clair, such a mainstay household name in collegiate Valorant. And so for someone who hasn't seen that much of Ohio State, you might think, oh, St. Clair, this is far and away their series. And I don't think that's the case. And I want to give Ohio State a really, really good shot here, not just in this series, but in this map specifically as well. I don't think that this is just St. Clair taking it and running with it by a mile. Do I think that we're going to be sitting here with quintuple overtime? No. But, you know, at the bare minimum for Ohio State, you're talking about 9 rounds on the board, 8 rounds, something in that range to give themselves at the very least a good showing here on Breeze, with potential to do more. If St. Clair makes a couple misplays, I mean, we're talking about a world where we're going to Corrode and it's a complete silence from St. Clair. So you can't just not be on your A game for the Saints.
Got to be on your toes. Make sure you're ready to play. Make sure you're ready to fire. Hopefully you've been hitting the training labs as much as possible. The training grounds, of course. Hit all your shots as much as possible. We are just waiting and giving ourselves a little bit of time, making sure the players are set to go. We want to make sure that we have a clean game. Make sure everyone is all loaded up and functional for this. This is a very important match, and for the teams setting themselves up in the regular season, you need to make sure you start off on the right foot. We appreciate everyone that is tuning in. The Division 1 Valorant side of things ongoing right now, I believe, is Game 3 of the Division 1 League of Legends side. That is actually on the other channel. I believe St. Clair is playing over there as well, which is quite interesting.
It's St. Clair versus Ohio State.
Yep, it's another side. Listen, we got to give love where we can, right? Listen, League of Legends or Valorant, both are amazing titles. And I think they're heading into game. I think they're middle of Game 3 right now. But that is beside the point. I want to know, do we see a duelist v duelist showdown between these guys? Do we see Des and JP just end up running into each other consistently through this map? Do we think it's going to be Star versus
Not in this half. I don't think you're going to see the Dez and JP show in this first half. In the second half, 100%, because you're going to have JP working towards that op, and who's the guy that's going to have to go in immediately and dive into the site? It's going to be Dez. So you're definitely going to see it a little bit more in the second half when the sides are swapped and Ohio State has to, make the attack. But we've done it. Hands are warm. No more exploded hand warmers sprawled out across desks. We're ready and live into the sunny shores of Breeze on a cold February evening. It's Ohio State starting on the defense. St. Clair ready to attack this A site, and it's just poor bot on the other side waiting to try and hold this execute.
I'm sure they got it. I trust them quite a bit. And of course, we will have this start. So, rounding out, nice little default opening walls set up as well. A site with 3. I don't dislike it. It's a very, very slow play so far. Ohio State not making too much noise, and St. Clair not willing to push the envelope just yet.
Well, and immediately, this push down elbow. They have so much space, and there's no mid presence by St. Clair at all. It's just Tillo to go in, and it's a huge 2 opening picks, and it completely rips open the defense for Ohio State.
Tough times abound. Ohio State maybe not checking that flank, and thankfully it is just a pistol. Pistols can bring a lot of weight here. Even though you take out 2, though, you are diverging away from B instead, making your way towards A, following through A main. No defenders over there, so you can go ahead and kind of ply your trade. Now you go with a little bit of a star, jump your way in, and St. Clair, you can see in the player cams, enjoying themselves a little bit on the opening of the match. Lurker still, though, in mid, which might cause a few problems, and Tillo might have a huge advantage here. Look 1, look 2, and you get the shots. That's a 3rd, make it a 4th, baby! Tillo off to the races on this Astra.
No ace. JP had to get his at the very end, but that's St. Clair, a very, very competent pistol, and that's the macro game plan from St. Clair, and the discipline to go into it as well. No fights given to the favor of Ohio State in that round. Tillo playing ever patient over by window, holding for that push to come out from elbow. And then after that, the immediate reaction, we know that there were 2 pushing B. We can just go A, end the round. Not really much that the Buckeyes can do about it. So St. Clair rewarded anti-eco and the outlaw for instinct.
You'd love to see it picked on up. And let this play towards mid once more, almost punishing Ohio State for how little they check the corner side. Box held, though.
Oh, yeah, Wadi's pinned in this corner now. And that dart, he knows where he is. And yeah.
I love that dance. I love that dance so much right there.
Got a little scary. And now look at the HP for Waldy.
Here.
Just so close to death. Just a quick breath away. And that's, I mean, it does put a little bit of pressure here on Ohio State, but they respond by just grouping up in mid. And the problem with that is St. Clair, they know that there's so much pressure over towards mid from Ohio State that these sites are going to be empty. So when in doubt, we execute out onto the A site.
Not only execute, but also just bum rush. You can take a look at the current positioning. It's a full man versus full man. And I don't know if St. Clair recognizes this, but they are seeing a very quiet site. Hard rush in, dash to the corner. You are going to get the play in down and then flood back into a main.
Left.
And this is such a rough
Spike
call from
planted.
Ohio State. 5 were gathered on the far end, and now they run through T-spawn. And Tillo will be the lurk once again. Sees 3 bodies is like, that's way more than I'm used to taking. Take a couple shots, at least 1 for their own first blood. To their name. How much info? Instinct with the ripper of a shot. Collapse out patience and bot. Difficult times as now the blind works. Instinct tries to get a little bit more, but it's all down to 1. Difficult times for Ohio State, even more so. Had to struggle, but Des making it look easy. The carry from the fall split. Try and get 1 more. Are you going to find it? No time on the fuse. And it will be JP to pick it up with that Guardian. Dangerous round 2, though. Well done by Ohio State to make it very painful.
Yeah, St. Clair losing a couple more bodies than they would have liked, but you know, at the end of the day, you get the round across, and that's the most important part. JP, at the very least, can keep the Guardian here into round 3. But for Ohio State, I mean, 4 kills, you're getting Dez pretty close to that converging paths. You're going to take that by all means. And so now it's really about how do you respond to these first 2 rounds. You saw the elbow push didn't work. You saw that St. Clair did end up going A both times. So what do? Both duelists over in A main.
Might as well push it. Stars out this time, though, as Patience rips on through really clean on those shots. The fans are taken away, but Wadi sends one right back.
What?
The spray through that smoke is devastating for the morale. It's still a 1 for 2, though. Still a lot of space to play with, and you got 2 in the mid. Ohio State backing away. St. Clair got options.
Right here.
They do, and because Breeze is such an open map and there's no mid control for Ohio State, you still have to be a little scared here and there. And so with 2 players for the St. Clair side over deep into mid, ready to go over towards that B site through tunnel, it's going to keep Isotopic stuck, pinned in the back of that B site, and it's going to leave these upper kind of metal area. It's going to be a little dangerous for bot, and that timing might be the end for Ohio State if they're not careful. Oh no, Waldy.
No. Oh, the start.
No.
Are you kidding me? Tillo,
No.
so much freedom.
30
You can't
seconds
get
left.
away with it 3 times in a row. Oh, check
Oh
1,
my
check
God.
2. You can knife it, but Seth, how long are you gonna watch? Where's
Oh my
Waldo?
God.
My man, you know where he is. Waldy's not gonna like that replay, baby. Tillo finds 2 more. Are you kidding me? It's down to a 3v2. Angel, I love this intro into Div 1. I am enjoying this immensely here. Run on the top.
Enemy remaining.
And Seth just finds another body. 1 more to go, you heard it. And it's the headshot. Devastating for Ohio State right there.
I mean, that right there is Tillo time in perfect effect. The caller for this St. Clair squad just goes beyond in the plays, in the mid rounds, and with patience, right? I know we talk about Pat changing his name there to Patience, but I mean, come on. Tillo just proving it and living that value right there to get St. Clair the bonus. And you can see for Ohio State not taking it too kindly in terms of the economics. Isotopic just down to a Bucky in this round as it's a full B hit from St. Clair.
They hit, but at the current moment, it's a slow pace. They're trying to spot out. They've hit A so many times, as you said, and they are going to try and kind of fish to see what kind of safety lines will be drawn on B. Nothing so far as though Isotopic might have a chance. Cover the rush, shot 1, and you reload, get a second. Well done. But it's only the entry. Patience rips Jay away. This actually might be a good round for Ohio State. They got some magic here, but again, Seth taking up Tillo's position. Says, hey, I can do the lurk as well. Around the corner, sees the body, but only gets 1. So that's a gun into the hands of Bot.
Scary.
St. Clair once again into dangerous position.
Yeah, but Pat get caught out here and does by Waddy. And that makes the numbers even again. And that means for St. Clair, they can just play the time. It's all up to Dez.
1 enemy remaining.
No.
Any other gun, Des would have had it, I feel like. Any other
I
gun.
fear, yeah.
But not going to be too happy about
1v2
that
for
one.
Bot.
Yeah.
Not impossible.
Look left, look right. Are you looking the right way?
One
You
enemy
figure, but
remaining.
that's tap number 1. And you see the gun barrel. Are you gonna get it? You do. I don't know if there's any time.
No time.
Oh, that
Oh.
hurts. That
It
hurts.
hurts so much. You'd think maybe Bot could get it, but no. Just a tad too slow, and St. Clair still continue the flawless run.
My people
4-0 lead
You must cultivate
at the
a
start
sense
of Breeze.
You know, it's a 4-0 lead, but I'm looking at it and, like, you taking a look at the economy, I don't think you would sit there and say they're 4-0 because of how dangerous it's been. Normally, you see a lot more fuller econ banks, but the fact that a couple are left on 600 and 200, I'd say Ohio State are trying to mitigate the damage where they can.
Oh yeah, it's been a couple rough rounds here where St. Clair have absolutely lost the bulk of their players, and you can see Ohio State now really wanting this A main. 3 players dedicated here. Dez, the first in line to swing, and does catch out Instinct.
Bye-bye.
Really, really nice shot there. Dez making sure that entry is a slow and unfortunate one. They do allow a lurk on the far end. JP still looking to A main. Sees a drone, but this wall through mid and connector B is holding the story. St. Clair, though, still eyes on main. Shots ringing out. Des ready. You don't try and
Back in
pop
flag.
this shot. Step on the far end is going to get it, but Des decides to run forward. Eats some damage down to 11 HP. Good scout out. But B is completely open right now, and they have to retake control. Ohio State looking to get the rotate down if they can without losing anybody in the mid.
That's the problem, right? With all these players in mid for Ohio State, that re-clearing of space, it blocks the rotate for St. Clair. So sure, you can have Seth all the way in defender spawn, but as long as Dez is still alive on A, it's not a free walkout, and that's the
Spike
spike
down
dropped!
I feel like you had B. It's a better chance. You know, Des is here. Take the shots, and Des still wins it with 11. Are you kidding me? St. Clair decide to test fate, and Des pushes back.
And that's a save from Seth. There's no way you go for this. A 1v4, 15 seconds left on the clock. Forget about it. You just gotta save that rifle into the next round, and
10
it's
seconds
Dez,
left.
deprived of an ace, but still a 4K to grab the first round for Ohio State. What else for the Buckeyes but a true old-fashioned round from Dez?
So fancy.
Oh, loses the gun at the end, but it doesn't matter. You've done your work. And I have to question, you know Dez is there, you know Dez is on one, pretty much a star shooter for Ohio State. And has already proven themselves in a round before. Was that the right call? Or do you feel like a rotate to B would have been a smarter answer?
I mean, I don't hate the play to just commit A, right? You know that Seth has all that space, with the idea for the 3 players to pinch and completely catch the players possibly holding backside off guard. You also know that you've given up all of mid control, so there's no way you can rotate safely in time. It's not a bad play, it's just Dez was just on one.
See if that changes at all. Instinct rushing on in, dimensional drift, spotting out a very, very empty B site. I'm back. Versus walk back, so it will be a full plant.
Nowhere
full
to run.
Siri being utilized. Snap one, Wadi fires away, not catching anyone here. It gives info around the way. Tillo getting just out of view of 4. Given the space to drop some stars. Space taken as Wadi locks down 2 more. Patience. Gets Wadi fight. Damage has already been done. Wadi, though, says the damage isn't done until I say so. Viper Pit needs to breach in center. Patience rushing in, decayed out to 45. I don't think in this dimensional drift they're going to be too hampered for time, but they spot 1. They're going to pop out here in a second. I don't know if they like their position. No, they do not, and they lose their life. Instinct corrects Des, and Instinct takes yet another. 2 pair with an ace on top. St. Clair get their 5th.
You like the idea from Ohio State. It's just those micro kind of positionings. The execute, it does unfortunately go awry. Just too many positions to check in that Viper's pit. And so unfortunately for the likes of Pat, he just can't get out on time. And unfortunately gets ripped open from that dimensional drift into the arms of 3 St. Clair players that are able to just completely drop him at the pin of a hat. So we do have the coach for the Buckeyes taking this timeout, trying to rally the troops here. And, you know, this was a map where, all things considered, we were expecting a pretty back and forth affair. And so the fact that we're already at a 5-1 lead, you really need to try and cull the momentum and figure out for Ohio State what the right option is, because it's not like your money is going to be in that good of a position right now.
No, it's going to be a little awkward. Maybe Ohio State taking some notes from the league squad who just took down St. Clair in a 2-1 fashion.
What?
Maybe they need a little bit of energy in there. I think that is what happened, unless I read it wrong. But yeah, Ohio State looking to try and get another win back-to-back in their header today. Buying out, though. Big buyout. Patience dropping that up. Bot and Isotopic might be taking a little bit of a weaker stance there. Giving a little bit more in the patience game. But St. Clair got all 5 weapons online.
Yeah, this is a round that's completely up to Pat. The hero off in hand. Have to try and hope that it's more than just some value that's found. It is the only value, unless you count this kind of 2-man hold of Dez and Waldy.
Small little play.
Yeah. St. Clair expecting some sort of eco play, but nothing to be given over just yet.
Nope.
And that's Pat having to walk away. Unfortunately, the scan pushes him off the line.
Good question on the far end. Snapshot. Instinct saw body and still tags him through. That's rough. Des spots out a few more, but leaves face open for Tillo to run shop. However, Des ready to shoot. Tillo says no, you only get 1, and that's a great gun down. You cause chaos and take Des out early with this. St. Clair breathe a little bit easier as they look to plant on A.
And at this point, right, the last 2 players remaining, only Sheriff's in hand.
Planted.
We're just kind of hoping to grab that operator, get on out of there, save it for another round. You don't really want to go for this 2v3. Don't have the numbers. Money hasn't been great either. Poor bot, just a Sheriff in hand. Has to win this fight onto JP, and unfortunately, that just feels like the round.
I mean, this is well done by St. Clair. I don't know if you recognize that Des was there, but it's a huge play of locking down those doors and just ensuring that Ohio State weren't going to have a clean line of sight. Look at all the bodies on the ground, by the way. Very, very nice job. St. Clair on form. And we had questions, right? You and I had questions about this roster. Are they going to be able to perform without one of their stars from the previous split? So far, at least in this map, on their map pick, they are doing well.
Yeah, and it's all been Tillo, right? 10-4, calling, at least for the most part. being that guiding voice round to round for St. Clair. Obviously, Seth in the mix as well. One of the 2 brain trusts of the team, stepping into an active player slot here in this series. But, I mean, it's been lights out for Tillo.
Over here.
And there's Instinct. Outlaw back in hand on the eco. Who else?
It's so clean. I love it. Poor Des is like, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all to hear that shot rip through.
Yeah, maybe we don't dive directly into the sight line of 2 players. Let's use that recall. Go right on out of there.
Angel dropping some advice from the skies there, from the heavens, saying, look, I don't want any more to join me up here. We're going to go ahead and make sure you try and stay alive a little bit longer.
I know.
Mid-side, being pushed.
Buckeyes, I know you guys have Colonel Sanders, but if you need another coach, let me know.
Oh, I like it. Currently a push through mid. Heavy push as well with all 5 to lurk through that pathway from Ohio State. And now they wrap around the back end. Will Tillo lurk with Seth? Might just having shots coming out. 1-2, hard ring onto the head as Tillo rocks isotopic patience. No dice whatsoever. And now that you know the 2 are gone, it's an easy push by St. Clair. Quick plant. In Ohio State, I mean, you got nothing to lose. Might as well try and take a couple bodies.
And you know what? All things considered, Dez has had a couple rounds today where that could be possible, but unfortunately caught.
Dude.
Knife out, and Tillo looking for more, looking to try and grab kill number 14 here, and does it. A flawless round for St. Clair, and Tillo 14-4 on that KD.
I mean, I'm trying to find the words for how good St. Clair are looking right now. And they look excellent, I have to say. Not a single member dropping below a 1.0 KD. They're looking strong. They're rotating ultimates. Like, the entire macro play is looking strong as well. Ohio State, they're trying. I give them a lot of credit. With 3 ultimates, they might be able to bounce back.
And that's what you hope for. But Instinct Operator now online, and Tillo only 1 before the trade, but here's the double swing, and that's going to cause a problem when the operator's on the line, but it shots missed.
Grazed the leg, not enough to do any real damage for Waldy. You know, step into this territory of, I hear it in the mid, am I going to get more? St. Clair don't want to roll the dice, though. They don't want to gamble that one away, so instead they'll move their way over towards A main, currently covered by the Viper's Pit. Once more, isotopic, ready with the judge in hand, which I love this call. St. Clair now waiting for the time to dissipate through some of this utility.
And I love this call from Ohio State, right? Force that Viper Pit out early. Keep the space in check. And with Waldy, sure, there's pressure here on you to perform in mid, but you have the angle and you have the tuck.
Oh, what a time. Easy pick number 1. JP at least answers back. And now there's a chase. Viper on Viper inside of the pit. Are you going to spot anyone out? Isotopic looks right, checks left, but of course the Viper's Pit holds. Star goes up, but it denies most information.
30 seconds
At the current moment, it's 2 on site behind you. Bot, though, helps out. Instinct goes down, and their instincts have failed them here. Bot ready for just 1 more, but inside the smoke is the major territory. They're hiding. They're trying to hide their own cloak. Ohio State, they have the right pinch. You're going to get the plan. Bot takes 1. They'll chase the last one out, and it will be Ohio State to get their 2nd of this map.
And that's the Buckeyes finally performing. Everything went right for them. Pat gets that opener, able to trade out Dez. Isotopic sitting perfectly in A main as that anchor, as he needs to be. Waldy gets 1 as well in the mid-round. Bot on that anchor position, rotating into the A site, does an excellent job. Everyone plays their part on that Ohio State squad. And for St. Clair, sure, it's been an impressive performance, and it's been their discipline that's been able to carry them to that 7-2 spot. But you need a couple more pop-off rounds if you really want to dominate in this half and look for a 9-2 or 10-2.
Oh! The double tap for good luck. Des sets up Tillo to go down, and it feels like the squad is starting to recognize where Tillo's going to be. No more extras. However, the front door was just kicked open. Seth drops 1, and it was a 2-for-2 overall. Ohio State maybe not liking what's going on as around the corner you go. Des startled a bit.
Oh,
immediately
wow.
whips out the fangs. Instinct goes down. And St. Clair really got to find a lock on the Des once more. Tap! 3rd. Seth is gone. They'll fest to Wadi as Wadi takes Des. But man, it's a 1v2.
Yeah, and for Wadi, no stranger to these clutch positions. Just has to play his game. The fear is, though, there's Isotopic sitting in tunnel. And on the swing, that's enough. Ohio State, off the back of Dez, once again, gets a third round on the board. And bare minimum, that's what you need for Ohio State to keep this game competitive into the second half. But you can get more, right? If you end this half 7-5, which still technically possible, I mean, that is a phenomenal comeback considering you were down, what, 7-1 at one point?
Be able to bounce back real hard, and Des is putting up the numbers. On the other side, I know Tillo's been stepping up, but I do want to see some of the duelists be able to push as well. JP maybe not having the exemplary performance they were hoping for here on the Jet. Transition into the duelist role. Maybe they'll be able to step up in the second half, but at the current moment, still kind of looking for their right spot. Dimensional Drip pushes into B site. Huge space taken. One more lurk over on A main inside a T spawn zone. Nobody really identified, though, because Ohio State are taking the long way around. CT plus mid converged in. Cosmic Divide to hold, but not before JP snipes out Patience, who is looking down the wrong alleyway. This is going to be a tough entry. Ohio State, they know they got a bottleneck in. Quick dash up. Great shot one, but Waldy and Bot swing together. Really nice pinches down to a 3v3. Hard rotate in from Seth. Seth looking for that pinch. Are they going to have it spike out in the mid? They have to look further down to B center as well. Bot finds Seth on the lurk, though, and that's huge. Wall is up now. Might cause some problems. Hunter's Fury will be tagged up, but it's swapped out in perfect motion. Well done by the side of Ohio State to wreck through the Hunter's Fury and cause Divide fourth for their name.
Wow, what quick thinking by Ohio State to grab that round, and that is some true genius play. Right, tank the first hit.
Should I play some stuff
of that Hunter's Fury? Get off, swap places.
I need a drop.
And there's no vision because it's all denied by the Cosmic Divide from Bot. Perfect way to grab a fourth round, and we talked about ult cycling. Well, now St. Clair's sitting here, nothing to their name, a little broke as well, and Ohio State, they've still got two crazy powerful ultimates on their side.
The pathways might converge here as a scan brings out Seth's location. You don't want to use it, though. Not just on one. Bot. Maybe Chelsea can chase some more. Hunter's Fury answered back in kind, though. Seth eaten by one. Isotopic and Bot, though, wreck a couple more bodies. A little bit of friendly fire on the back end, but the Hunter's Fury does not care. You got the damage that you want. JP, strong shot one. You need a bit more than that. Mid, currently the battlegrounds. This is a cheat into CT as well. Nice run by Des in a 1v1. And you know Des is going to take that all day long. Wadi answers Waldy's life, though, as the mirror matchups are starting to lean in favor of St. Clair, but the bodies overall lean to Ohio State.
Yeah. The problem is right now for St. Clair, you lost those smokes really, really early in the round. No Viper, no Astra to help you. And look at all the space that you see Isotopic able to take over towards the B site. That means that these last two players, Dez and Bot, can both sit tucked in corners over on A, and Bot answers on Tawadi very effectively. And now Instinct all alone, 1v3, and just getting brutalized right now.
How many members are going to walk into their face? Only one, because Des finishes it off. Cat howling as we see the first half go the way of St. Clair, but a run back at 4 is huge for Ohio State.
Yeah, this is, reminder, 7-1 start for St. Clair. Ohio State feels like Dez has finally woken up. 12 kills to his name, topping the leaderboard for the Buckeyes. The other side, though, right, you have to mention Tillo, 15 and 8. Just an absolute dominant force there on the attack, but this is the side we were talking about in that head-to-head, right? How effective of an entry is Dez, and more on top of that, how effective is the rest of the Buckeyes with keeping up with Dez and his diving to be able to trade him out effectively?
Let's see if they have what it takes. Round start, 13. Unlucky or lucky, you decide. Mid pressure held by 4. Looking through doors. And it's a hard rotate coming in from St. Clair as well. They know this is going to go down. Instinct holds the door. Tilla holds the line as well. Crossfire is good. Waylay dashes on in, but Daz can't really find too much pressure as they go ahead and TP back. Eyes around the corner. Instinct was ready. Daz cannot meet the pistol standard. And it's a flush out of all 5. Close them out in Flawless South. St. Clair say at least we got our one.
And that's completely fine if you're Ohio State. Sure, It would have been nice to grab the pistol, but it's not necessary. It was a 7-5 half. It was super close. St. Clair notoriously pretty good on pistols at that. So it's okay. You can kind of brush it off, grab a couple sheriffs into this round, hope for some good damage. Make sure that St. Clair can't build up too much of a bonus early on. You need to try and mitigate as much of the lead as possible, because if you go down 7-1 again, yeah, unfortunately this map is over.
Wall out. This time, Instinct ripped him up. Couldn't dash back fast enough, but you did your job. Bandit expended. The walk around the wall. Waddy was ready through the wall. What a shot. You can see it in his face saying, I got time. I'm ready to go. Let's get a couple more kills. Really nice job to open.
Yeah, and that leaves Waldy and Isotopic in a really rough spot. You can see they're just trying to hold this cross, waiting for Waddy to repeat, but considering the numbers, considering how disciplined St. Clair are, only Tillo's going to be the one exploring. Did see the back of Waldy for just a moment, and now positions revealed for both the remaining Ohio State players.
Poor Waldy. I don't know how you survived. You're currently on 1 pure HP. I watched that HP bar drop through the wall, and it hurt to watch, I'm not gonna lie. So, poor Waldy is just like, dude, what did I deserve to have this happen? Quick tap. You didn't need to dome him like that. You could have shot his toe, Tillo. Another kill for Tillo, who is juggling a fantastic current scoreline.
30 seconds
Spike held
left.
by Isotopic Hero, who was gonna try and play Hero, but maybe not with the best gun to do so. 2 bullets in chamber. You need to kill 4, but only 1 in this 1v1.
Unfortunately, there is no chamber on this map. No one playing that agent. So,
Ooh.
you know, good one, but you still got 3 more to find if you want a chance of winning this round. And JP locked in, lined up. 6 HP makes it a little close, maybe too close for comfort, but you still grab that round across. You only lose 2. Call that a pretty good bonus for St. Clair.
Yeah. I like it. It was not as messy as the opening pistol. If we remember, the opening like 3 rounds after the pistol was like 1 member left each time. Being able to carry over not just 5 from the half pistol to 4 this time around, it's huge. Very, very nicely done. Or 3.
Oh yeah.
Ohio State though now have a chance to bounce back. We've seen them do it before on the 5th. They're gonna try and do it on their 3rd here and keep it close at a 9-6 if they can handle it. But it does require getting through Tillo. And keep an eyes, Des leading the front charge, but Instinct, what a tap! Down goes the front runner for Ohio State, which is a painful one. This entry now becomes so much harder.
That is not what you want to see if you're an Ohio State fan. That completely ruined their game plan for the round of you know, Des breaking through that opening hold and letting Pat come and clean up the aftermath. No longer happens. Instead, it's just pure fragging, and at the very least, Waldy will be able to give you that. So 4 on 4, 1 for 1. You lost a little bit of firepower on the entry in exchange for getting rid of one of the hard anchors for St. Clair. But for Ohio State, you got 50 seconds left, and you still have moves you need to make.
It's going to become far more desperate here as well. Waddy holding this corner. And see, 1 taps it, and the Guardian destroys Bot's head. Now you're forced to doors, but you're forced into a position where there is a decent crossfire prepped and ready to go. JP, the one that has been given an opportunity to play this duelist in the double duelist situation, wants to pop out. And you can't get anything that actually leaves this A site way more open than they would have liked. It's down to a 2v2.
It's possible here, but Isotopic has to be a little careful. Did spot Waddy on the walkout. Drone's now going to be used, and that's going to be scary for Waldy. Who is now caught out. Instinct does catch Isotopic, and now it's that 1v2 for poor old Waldy.
And do they split both on left side of Waldy? Might not be ready for it. Oh god! Waldy saw it. Waldy's like, no, I don't want this. Sprints over to the right side, tries to send a shock bolt, and needs to get 2 taps. Will they line up? Shots ring out. Waddy picks it up, and it will be the finish for St. Clair. That will be 3 in a row. Well played so far, too. Yeah, there's the 3rd. Ohio State, rough time in the opening.
Yeah, St. Clair, they play that 1v2 super well. This is what they're known for. If they have that advantage, chances are they're going to be able to keep it throughout the rest of the round. And now you can see just how rewarding it is to get these pistols and get those bonus conversions, because JP only has to invest into an outlaw here and is still going to find that super high level value, as everyone on the side of Ohio State save for Dez, who doesn't have a full rifle and just has a Bucky. Everyone else, sure, you've got the rifle, but you don't have the full armor to match, so this Outlaw will be deadly, and Ohio State has to be careful.
Tried a little bit little. Just all you needed was a little bit of a shoulder, and JP takes it away. Isotopic goes down. No more smokes, no more walls. That also creates a devastating thought. It's either Des or Isotopic. And those go down. You lose a lot of that entry power. Good start to slow them down. Scope out, but a nice dash in. Des falls right into Tillo's hands, though. Waldy's able to get JP. That's a very, very small consequence. Tillo backs away, waits for the rest of the team, hiding in this corner. I like it, and you hear the footsteps all on this left side. So much information given. Bot with that plant. Tillo with the drop. It's going to be his 4v3, but they don't know. Scotty doesn't know. Instinct, though, does. Wadi and Seth bring it to a close. All they need is one more, and Wadi will finish it off. Well done by St. Clair as they hit double digits.
Yeah, and this is, again, the St. Clair that gets to dominate when they're in that advantage. Wadi kind of strutting his stuff a little bit. He knows what he got up to here on this A site. And so for Ohio State, now you're in a super rough spot because you're not going to have money to really try and extend this game that much further. You're still going to have to contend with either an Outlaw or an Operator. In this case, it is going to be the former in the hands of Instinct. And you don't have a ton of ults to work off of either, so it's really just about, again, how much can the Sheriff find. And despite the phenomenal, game plans that Ohio State has had, in that round, it gets shut down because Tillo hits a shot while, slowed from the Waylay stun. There's not much you can do.
You gotta make some magic happen. Corrode will feel a lot more comfortable. But going down like this, on breathe is always a rough one. Quick dash up, dash, jumps on in, spots really nobody, and Tillo still gets some value on the back end. Didn't even worry about Des. Really nice shots. Plant going down, eyes are drawn, but they refuse. Only went halfway, they didn't complete it. I don't know if that was the well or not. I think it might have been. Waldy now completes. Gives a lot of time for St. Clair to rotate, though. Instinct rips one. Bot is gone. Beautiful shot on that Outlaw. Instinct looking for another season. Arm can't get the finish. That gives you more info. Now it's a flood. St. Clair, the Saints are rolling in more ways than one. JP, headshot. Wadi, headshot. Waldy goes down as Seth claims one as well. St. Clair on their map selection. Put themselves on map.
Team A.
Well, for Ohio State, it would be a 7-round deficit that they need to make up in order to bring this game into overtime. And to be fair, Ohio State has gotten here before, but can they do it again? That's the question. And unfortunately, it's not necessarily about the Buckeyes needing to generate their own magic, but rather needing to counter the magic that St. Clair is being able to generate, because these are the type of games where you truly remember just how good of a player Tillo is, just point blank. This is a guy who we know has stepped up in huge moments before, but the consistency was wavering. And so to see him start a series like this and maintain this form through a map is insane. And if he can keep this up, I mean, that starts putting him in some crazy talks.
I mean, especially when you're comparing them over to Des, who we looked at as the star player for Ohio State. I feel like St. Clair have also done very well in shutting down Des, recognizing that Des is going to be the opener and appropriately adjusting for it. Whether it's Tillo, whether it's JP trying their best on the back end, whether it's Instinct even trying to match 1-for-1. These are all things that allow someone like Tillo to step on up. I want to see even more from this squad moving forward. We posited to them. How strong are they going to be? Last week did not look great for them. I feel like this is a great bounce back match if it can continue to maps 2 or a possible map 3. Heading into this map point, though, Ohio State needed to have that timeout be extremely useful for them. And Wadi says, you aren't even going to get that chance. Snapshot, Wally gone. No chance for the Hunter's Fury. In return, Des dances on in, sees a body. Tillo shuts it down again! The mastermind of destruction is
Last
ripping
player
Ohio
standing.
State's opportunities away. Waddy with the 3K, and with the 4th to go, it will be St. Clair with map 1.
Unbelievable scenes. It genuinely was a game where anytime Dez tried to hit a key on his keyboard, Tillo had an answer, and Tillo stopped him dead in his tracks. I mean, there's nothing else to say other than that is truly one of the most dominant performances I think we're ever going to see from an IGL here in Division 1.
And I give credit because we talked about it. You know, for St. Clair, last week looked rough. They lost one of their star players. This 4-man kind of rotating squad was so good on their own. They made it to the finals. They pushed hard. And then you lose a key component. Well, you got to step up in one way or another. They changed the composition around. We mentioned it. JP moving away from that kind of Senti control style into a more offensive role. Yes, in here didn't look great, but it takes time to swap. Tillo has done so well in literally dragging everyone along. You can see throughout the course of that map, everyone getting sharper and sharper.
Yeah, and that is exactly what you want to see. The fact that Tillo can come into this map and buy enough time off of his power plays alone to get Instinct on the board, right? It's because, again, we've always said this about St. Clair. Their issue has never been with the game plan, with the macro, with the discipline. That's always been their strength. From a top-down perspective, the paper perspective, St. Clair has looked perfect. Their problem has always been in the server, the mechanics, and that's why we were excited when JP first came to this team, because we knew just how strong of a mechanical player this guy was. When you talk about Waddy being added to this team, we knew just how strong and consistent he could be, and so when you have Tillo stepping up into this fashion to cover some of the firepower that they ended up losing between last semester and now, this shows the strength that St. Clair truly can show.
And for Ohio State, it's a little bit of a bounce back. You ran into St. Clair and you said, hey, maybe we can have that same type of game plan. Well, eyes are on them now. St. Clair has shown that they've stepped up. Will Ohio State do the same? We're going to give them a little bit of time to discuss and figure out what they want to do on their map pick of Corrode, if this will be the series end or only the series beginning. We'll see what they can do as Division 1 Valorant will continue in just a bit.
At Ohio State, we are the agile, bold breakthrough teams. The never afraid to innovate teams. And the achieve more together teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
No sé cuándo parar.
Map number 2 is ahead of us as St. Clair came out with an absolute bombshell of a map number 1. Multiple members stepping up at just the right time, shutting down some stars on the other side. Angel, I am excited to see what else St. Clair have to offer.
And that is what we are all excited for, is this pop-off from Tillo, right? To bring St. Clair a very dominant first map win here in the spring split of Division 1 after going down 0-2 to Maryville in week 1. They bounce back here against the Buckeyes, and they look very, very good. This is from the last time these two teams faced off here on Corrode in the fall. This was a game that went all the way to overtime, and this was a game where we saw Instinct really, really take over alongside Taiga to bring St. Clair across the line. Well, now, like we talked about, Taiga's no longer here on this team, and while we've seen Tillo fill in some of that space, I think a lot of pressure is going to be on Instinct, the sole duelist for this team, to really provide a lot of that impact value on what is considered Ohio State's best map in Corrode.
Yeah, the primary duelist to kind of give that space, give that opportunity, and maybe see if someone else will step up. I know JP has been floating that duelist side, that secondary duelist, which I don't dislike. I would like to see a little bit more of that. Jet had a hard time, but you're also going up against Des, who I think had your number in there. I am excited to see what more the team has to offer and to see them fly a little bit higher and closer towards that sun of a first place. At the same time, for Ohio State kind of locked down there, but Des had some shining moments. It wasn't all bad. And I do want to see if Ohio State can actually bounce back on their map pick here and kind of give themselves a good confidence booster into that map 3.
And that's what we're hoping for, right? Is for Ohio State, if you can pick up Corrode here and you take it off of St. Clair, which you were very close to doing just last semester, that gives a lot of credence, not just to how lethal this map is for Ohio State, but also for what they can be able to do in the future. And one of the kind of sore spots for Ohio State throughout this entire year has been these attack sides, right? The Buckeyes, once again, have a map in Breeze where they look pretty decent on the defense, and then they swap to the attack side and can't get a single round across the board. Well, now here we are on Corrode, and this is insane to me.
What?
We have JP on Vito for the side of St. Clair, which I think is a Division 1 first. I don't think we've ever seen Vito in Division 1. Dez, uniquely not on the Waylay, instead on the Phoenix. I don't think in a million years I would have seen Dez on any agent but the Waylay, and now here we are.
I mean, we said adjustments had to be made, right? Like, you and I were discussing it. Dez has done very well, but you need a little extra oomph, and I do feel like the Waylay was kind of learned already by St. Clair. Swapping over here, and then Ohio State are thrown for a curveball in the Vito. Explain to me what this Vito is going to do here as we do. Well, I'll let you a little bit later, as I wonder if there's going to be a little bit more fast pace of a round 1. And I already see the rest of St. Clair on this defensive end to start. How well are they going to be able to play, and how well are they going to take this mid position? So far, shots not exceptional in there with that smoke, but first we got another star going down. Neither team really wants to face each other just yet. St. Clair waiting 3, 4 positive in the middle. It's now going to be a rush all the way in. Instinct hears a couple bodies, looks left, tries to look right. JP with the shot number 1. Instinct pops on out, but it's a 1-for-1 across in more directions than one. Patience rips one as well. JP gets 2, and is left all alone here in a 1v2.
Waldy's pinned though.
Oh, what a tap! What a tap, JP!
What just happened? In the blink of an eye. You want to know what the Vito's going to do for this map, for St. Clair? He's going to do that. He's just going to go in and get 4 every round. No, but seriously, I mean, what a clutch from JP. Grabs that pistol, steals it away from the clutches of Ohio State. And you want to talk about what this Vito does, is it frees up JP to be a more dynamic, kind of brawly style of anchor on this B site, and potentially over towards the middle of the map as well. It gives him a lot of flexibility in how he chooses to play, because St. Clair, they need to put so much focus on mid and on sometimes on A. JP has to just kind of hold on his own, and this gives him the opportunity to do that, especially in a round like this where he has the weapon advantage.
I just can't believe it happened. That was straight up gunplay, and I love it right there. Really, really well done. And it kind of demoralizes the other side as well. We don't talk about it enough, but getting ace like that when you had the player advantage just hurts. And especially for Ohio State that now have to have lost, I believe, 3 pistols in a row. It just sucks, man. Like, that's just a bummer. But at the current moment, they don't allow more deaths to go unyielded. They will sit themselves up with a 5v5. Mid currently pinched, as we do have a Sage Wall, I believe, primed, cutting off a lot of information. Ohio State going to take the long way around, but double back, so the fake rotate here.
Yeah, they're trying to pull people away from B because they noticed that it was more than one person sitting on this B site, and you'll notice St. Clair not really changing from that idea. It's still going to be JP and Wadi both here. Brazilian duos.
30 seconds left.
Sit
on cooldown
on B. Intercept back out. And now it's time. Ohio State, you got to try and execute. This is your chance.
Here they go, JP. What a move, JP. Sealing 7 kills in a row right there. Steph and Tillo finally get their hands in. And there was not much more to play for. That is a flawless round for St. Clair. Very nice job to ensure no extra cash handed to Ohio State.
I was trying to figure out if it was 6 or 7 for JP, but it was 6.
Oh, no. Only
a 4K in the first round. Okay. Not entirely an ace, but it felt like it based on those last 2 kills. For Ohio State, though, I mean, this is really where the game starts formally for you, right? You lose the pistol, you give away that eco round as a formality, you have the full guns. Really, the question is for Dez, is what are these rifle rounds going to look like from this guy?
There.
Fast into A is the answer. Grabs the ult.
Snare destroyed.
Util decked out, so info granted to Ohio State. Lean over towards the A, but nothing more given. Mid might be met with the 1v1, or 2v1 actually, with the fade on the back line, but JP is still hanging up on the top side. Instinct really is lined up. A body looking to eke on out. 40 seconds burned. Again, I'm not overly sure about the slow play, but they need it. Instinct feeling something in their bones. See a body walk by, snapshot 1, 2, misses both, but it's information garnered.
That dash is well heard. It's going to kind of leave question marks for St. Clair as to where these players are going, but the crawl up mid over towards A, immediately heard. JP pushed off the line, and that's going to give St. Clair the kind of forcing them to collapse into this site in Ohio State. They want to smell blood in the water.
JP and Seth say no dice whatsoever. Bye-bye to 3 of Ohio State. That hurts so much, but Des is still alive. Des can make this
timing.
Work. That's going to be a plan. Instinct was ready. Spike is denied on the plant, so Des has to make magic happen. But you're slowed, you're hindered, and you're denied, and you fall through. All of a sudden, you're in a rush. I don't think you like this corner pocket.
No time.
And they can wait. They can wait all day long. You have to try and plant. It's done. You got to try and clean him up. 1 runs away. Tilla holds the line. Well done by St. Clair for 3 in a row.
Yeah, and it's Ohio State
A healer's burden is light.
just collapsing on the execute. They played the macro so right. They just couldn't get those entries. Instead, it was the kind of double anchor work between JP and Seth to get the job done. And Seth, even a guy that we kind of questioned coming into the day about, you know, the state of his firepower. We knew how smart of a player he was, and how much of a voice he has on this team, kind of crafting these game plans out of the server for St. Clair. But to see him now be able to translate that into in-game success in the kills is huge.
Right now, heading into round 4, they got to make some magic happen. Patience currently tethered up. The fade. So much info. Eyes out on the side. Patience spot 1. Waldy goes down in lieu. JP still ripping them all apart. I am so sorry I didn't recognize your greatness from map number 1 as Instinct hones on in. That's a shorty being danced around as Seth helps out. Are you kidding me? Only 1 goes down as that's a bowl over for St. Clair.
And this is where you start to get nervous for Ohio State.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, we knew that their attack side wasn't the strongest to begin with. Not even just specifically on Corrode, but on all maps. We know this is where they start to struggle. But to see it this dominant this quickly starts to really feel like maybe Ohio State just don't have the answers. Maybe the vibes are a little off, but I mean, Dez, run it back is available, is potential for some early round power play should they need it. That's what you'd want.
Oh, what? No, illegal instinct, my man. You had 3 targets.
Give them, give them something. Give them a chance in these rounds. Instinct.
Wadi says no dice. Quick dash in, a waylay on the back end. Can do it just as well as Des, but Instinct needs no dash. From the box to the smoke, no cover is safe. But at least rips one back, but you're in a 2v3 position. And on the high ground, might go into the Carnival shootout. Well done.
2-on-2.
Looking for a third. Walking on the bodies, bot drops an orb. But the star is going to be big because it's all about the gun round. Oh, Tillo waits and gets a shot off. It's down to 1v1. Dangers abound.
Has the spark.
The topic sees the eyes, and Tillo clutches out. Dangerous 5th round.
Clutch time, Tillo time, baby. 1 versus 2, no problem for the IGL of St. Clair. And here it is. There's that timeout from Ohio State, perfectly timed. You lose the first 5 rounds, including 2 of which being full rifles for the Buckeyes. I mean, you need this as an opportunity. The fear is, where do Ohio State even go here?
My silence is my answer. I hope you know.
Yeah.
I don't have a good one, Angel.
And that's the problem is if you're Ohio State, like, is it really has been the executes that's been the bulk of the issue. You know, sure, you get some unlucky sprays through smokes in a lot of situations, like we talk about with what would happen last round in mid, where Dez just immediately dies to the spray through the smoke. But on the other side of things, you know, when we talk about that A-side execute, where Ohio State, they did the early round right, they got the space in mid, they split onto the A-site, they just couldn't convert against low-tier weapons. I mean, that's where it's going to cost you, and it's not really a discipline issue more as it is just missing utility. Just not sending in abilities when you need to or where you need to.
They gotta find something back. Maybe that timeout gave them some info. Hey, let's try and keep track of JP. JP hasn't stepped up. Instinct, though. Dashes on in with a couple orbs. Step with the low ground fire, though. Covering spray. Catches them all. The distraction game is working so well, and Ohio State are left befuddled, bewildered, completely bedazzled. There is no space for them to play. Isotopic on 10 HP. There is a run it back available, and Des might be able to make it work. But you gotta call the haul out. Isotopic gets a rip on JP. It's down to a 3v2. The problem being is, of course, the spike is already all the way inside that spawn to connector. And Ohio State had to play to someone else's tune.
Yeah, and this is, unfortunately, essentially a 1.5 v3, considering the health of Isotopic. So Dez really has to do the most here to get this done. No spike, 35 seconds. No point in saving. It's not like you have weaponry to your name.
One enemy remaining.
Again? Through the smoke again?
Check the PC. Check the Instinct is not the right name. That is illegal work. That's illegal, man.
Surely he saw like one Phoenix Dread. Like he saw one Phoenix Dreadlock through the smoke or something, like through the corner. Because there's no way. There's no way you do that twice to the same guy.
Oh my god. There's something poetic about this, man. There's something poetic about poor Des trying to pop off and just not being allowed to.
You know what? It's because we asked Instinct. You know what? Is he gonna pop off? Is he gonna be able to shut down Dez? Well, I guess we have our answer, don't we? Guess we have our answer.
Guess we have our answer, dude. Imagine it's just like screen making or something. Not JP. JP is on one as well, making up for a massive deficit from game number 1. It's looking like the Stellar All-Star chasing Tillo and Instinct for the carry positions. Tillo now stepping away on this stage, holds it down with the rest of the team, says, guys, I know where they're at. The Phoenix Wall goes out. That's only a short delay. Seth, who has been so good on the lurk position, a great support fragger as well. Looking to help space with Instinct, to checks the corner pocket, but it's not much said. Mid now traverse. Des holding it down on A main, but nobody is there. The entire force of St. Clair moving off to the B side flank. Random shots, don't do it again. I swear to God, if you do, there's gonna be another pause, and it ain't gonna be by a team. We attack Seth with a turn. Great shot by Bob. Wadi answers back. Instinct still refires. Instinct through the smoke. Had some info this time, but that is way too rough. Ohio State at this point should be completely demoralized, and I don't blame them.
And you can see it in their confidence, right? In the way that they're taking some of these duels, they're starting to struggle, and it hurts. It's going to hurt. I mean, we talked about potential.
Angel, they need your blessing, man.
We talked about the potential of this going 3 maps, and unless Ohio State start winning around soon, I mean, listen, they were able to convert going down 7-1 to make it 7-5. You know, maybe if it's 8-4 with the strength of their defense, it would be enough. A tour de force, it might just be a chance.
I love the sprint. I love the sprint. Screw everything else. Just shoot. Run and gun style all day long. 1-3, run it back is reset. Now they're looking for another body. As a huge collapse in Dimensional Drifter. That's not the Dimensional Drifter. That's light. That is just a quick clone. The Death, though, takes Instinct in the first 1v1 that they've won in a while. The low equipment is actually working for them. Pistol and the shot value is working for JP and Seth. Bring it right back, and Seth taps out for a third. St. Clair rally up and are able to restabilize for 8 in a row.
And that is, again, Seth just having one of those vintage moments, rolling back the years, back to when he was considered one of the best players in collegiate on this St. Clair squad. Just does an absolutely phenomenal job. Now topping the leaderboard for St. Clair, 11-4. I mean, Ohio State literally did everything right in that round. Opener goes their way. Dez gets 2, uses the run it back. Now JP gets to be posted up on this line with the operator.
Oh! JP stole some of the cheats from Instinct. My God, you know it's all mechanical skill. A third not going to land. JP with a quick look on the side. Wadi to help out for a bit, but it's a 3-for-1 so far. ISO topping and Death, though, get a lot of revenge. We're 2-2 right now. Disaster striking for St. Clair after a great opener, but Seth and Tillo wreck the last 2. It is 9 rounds in a row as St. Clair flexing their muscles at this point.
Yeah, that felt like a death nail. And it hurts to say that because it's not over and Ohio State still have a chance, but you look at the money, you think about the possibility of St. Clair going up double digits on this map. Reminder, a map that we considered Ohio State to be top 2 in Division 1 on this map. And St. Clair, they wanted to shut down those ideas very quickly.
All right, well,
Bye-bye.
Door to A closed, door to B closed. Maybe door to mid is open. Ohio State trying to find a way inside the house. There's too many defenders. Take over that territory. It's a 1-for-1 so far. And now a breach to the side. Quick teleport from the Omen onto site here. Seth trying to body block in front of the waves. Death with a quick rounder. Forcing a 1v1 on Wadi. Wadi goes down. Seth answers in tow, but Seth loses their life after getting 1. It's going to be a 1v2 around the corner. Waylay about to show their eyes. Quick plant in the corner, but no, they take the wide way out. Tillo sees a body in mid. That's the 1v1 that we're watching for. Instinct with the read. Snaps onto the body. Tillo wins against Death and gets a revive off as well. St. Clair are making a masterclass of this map. Swing around the corner, Instinct with the fake. And it is St. Clair with 10 in a row.
Maybe let's kill them before they plant next time.
It's just Ohio State. They're quiet. They can't seem to get it going here on Corrode. And you have to bring to attention Dez, right? 7-10 right now, not being able to take over games, not being able to find these hot streaks in some of these rounds that really give them the opportunity to grab hold of some of these leads that they're able to get, even in rounds where you have a guy like Isotopic, where you have a guy like Pat taking those entry duels in spite of Dez, instead of him. They're still not able to crack it open, and so now here we are, down 10 rounds in one half, 10-0 lead for St. Clair. If there's any chance of Ohio State being able to bring this game to overtime, let alone win it, it has to be through these last 2 rounds in the first half.
It really does. You can't be going into the second half looking at an 11 or 12 difference. You gotta find some sort of straw to grasp at. Find that needle in a haystack. Find that magical moment. I'd also like to point out something that you don't see very often. St. Clair on their defensive end for 10 rounds have nearly stomped out Ohio State. That is the first round. That 10th round is the first time they've ever defused to win. That's how dominant they are. That is an insane stat line. Looking here, after the timeout, they're going to look. Instinct dashes up, takes a bit of pain. So at least Ohio State has some fundamental differences. Pick 1, pick 2. Tillo with the flat! No, not again! The mastermind from map 1 steps into play as well. Death is the last one alive, and you can only get 1 for your troubles. Timeout did nada. St. Clair on 11.
Last
And
round
this
in the half.
is a Tillo and Seth masterclass. The calling has been on point for St. Clair throughout this map, let alone the performances. And it's not just Tillo and Seth. You've seen JP have pop-off moments. Instinct has looked like an almost unstoppable duelist throughout this defensive half, by the way. No attacking has gone on. No planting of the spike has been going on, except for 1 round in this half where Ohio State was able to get the spike down.
Cannot believe it.
No charges left.
Instinct and Wadi at this point, just playing for funsies. It feels like Wadi, who has quite literally had almost the entirety of the highlight reel burned away. JP turning in with the ult says, we're going to take it to a gun round, something that we've won 9 times out of 10. You're at this point 10 and 10. Sees a gun barrel, bro. Like, that's just freaking rude. You don't even know how long the gun barrel is, and you just take it away. Patience is the last one alive. Everyone's collapsing on it. This is the start of the show. JP with a jumper of a shorty to bring St. Clair to a perfect half.
Switching sides.
12-0. And knowing St. Clair's track records on pistols, I fear round number 13 might not be too far behind for Ohio State. Confidence shattered. Almost feels like you got to go back to the drawing board on what was at one point in time called your specialty. That time is no more.
We are
It's
just
Tillo
stun
time
locked
now.
by this dude. We are just stun locked by what just happened, man.
It's Tillo time now.
Isotopic though. Being hero headhunter is available. Good out by the Prowler. Said no thank you. Instinct though, chasing on in. It's a pure B-side hit. Flank coming in from back end, so there's a timer left on them. The blind can't even stop them. Tillo and Wadi take out Decimations. It's looking like the end right now. Angel, they needed some miracles, but it's reality that smacks them in the face. Wadi though, answers back. St. Clair, magic in the works. Wadi brings it right back. 2v2. Plant down. It's a chance. It's a chance at half bot. Finds the roundabout. Great ghost shots. Wadi wins it out.
One shot.
Can you get it?
Players.
44. There it is. Wadi finishes it off. A perfect map by St. Clair to take the series.
I'm at a loss. Out of all things coming into today, a 13-0 on Corrode was the last thing I would have expected from either team. And yet, here we are. Reminder, in the fall, this very map was played between these two teams. It went to overtime. This is literally the exact opposite of overtime, is a 13-0. And here we are. St. Clair, not only was it a 13-0, they made it look effortless.
Yes. And I really could not sit there and dissect why they look so dominant. It felt like every player on the side of St. Clair took a step forward, saw their teammate take a step forward, decided to take two more, and that consecutive momentum steamrolled into them, outpacing Ohio State. We know Ohio State know how to play this map. We know they know the corridors, but as you said, it was a tough climb. Honestly, Angel, I don't know if there's more words to be said here, except well done to St. Clair. I do want to ask you, looking at Ohio State, this now puts them at an 0-2 start. They are already looking at a pretty tough start to this season. Where do you hope they can increase their output from to be able to be a contender moving into the rest of the season?
I mean, you have to start by looking forward, right? Their next week match is, I believe, against Maryville. It's not like that is going to look that much more favorable for them compared to this one. So, that projected, assuming you go by the statistics, that would be 0-3. And that's really not a hot start. Not to say that this was a must-win series, but you wanted this series to inspire a little bit more hope in the Buckeyes squad than I think what we got today. Now, to be fair, Dez did not look on his A game today. And that's a really big problem for this Ohio squad is how do you get around when Dez isn't on his A game? We saw some glimpses of hope from players like Pat, from players like Bot, but you need to see that more from those two guys. That's unfortunately what it is. And then there's this kind of elephant in the room of Corrode.
Yeah.
If this is what your Corrode looks like now, I mean, now we're really scared, and we really got to think about what the future of this team is, and maybe there's a little bit of an identity crisis going on. Maybe there's also a weird analyst who's reading too much into it, sitting on the caster's desk right now. But I think that Ohio State, this series has raised more questions than answers, and you want to see them bounce back from this in a very positive way, and I think that they can.
I think so as well. I also think you might have run into some of the teams that are going to be looking at the top of the playoffs come the future of Division 1 Valorant, and that's also quite scary, but also maybe a relief that you now know how far you have to shoot for to be able to reach those big dogs at the top. I'm very excited to see what more can be done, but for St. Clair, it's a dub and a half and a huge turnaround from week number 1. With that being said, though, we are going to get a little bit into their minds, figure out what changed between weeks 1 and week 2, and how they thought the series went. We'll see you all in just a bit.
At Ohio State, we are the agile, bold breakthrough teams. The never afraid to innovate teams. And the achieve more together teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
human? Am I alone? Do I belong here? They paint the world in black and white, it's confusing. I wanna let them know that I'm something else. I don't care what you say to me, 'cause I'm someone else. This is what happens between your type. Don't think, just fall in line. What's the point of living life if it ain't even mine? All the best things I know sit in the void, and makes me wanna scream that I'm something else. I don't care who I'm meant to be, 'cause I'm someone else. This is what happens between
Welcome back, everyone. We are here with the interview with the one, the only JP, who was a monster in map number 2. How are you doing and how you feeling after that series victory?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm feeling really happy. We as a team, we have been practicing for short of like 2 weeks, I think. So we are still trying to understand how we want to play the game, figure out how we gotta do inside the server. So it's definitely really happy that we got the first victory.
Okay. First, and arguably the most important question: who's playing TFT behind you?
I was about to say, I think someone just bombed out, actually. Are
Who's
they
setting the boards?
Did they
That's Taiga. That's Taiga. He's happy we won. He's celebrating playing TFT.
There he is. We found Taiga. Okay. Let's talk about this first week match that you guys had against Maryville. Obviously, not a ton of time to practice coming into the new semester, but that was a rough game to see from you guys, especially considering that was the rematch of the finals from last semester here, right? It was you guys versus Maryville, and then we come into that game. It was pretty rough. What was the conversation in the team like after that loss?
Yeah, 100% was a really tough loss, but we took it like as the best way we could, because we know they have been practicing for the challengers matches and they have been playing together for so long. And even though we are established core, we still couldn't put in enough time to get there. So we know it's just a matter of time. It was only the first match of the season. I'm pretty sure we're gonna face them again in playoffs, and it's gonna be a better game for us.
So then we move on to kind of this series, right? This kind of bounce back game that you guys had. And I wanted to talk first about Breeze. That was obviously your guys' pick. We know how much work that Seth and Tillo do outside of the server to get you guys prepped for that game plan. I want to talk about this Jet pick because you, I mean, as a Sentinel specialist, so to speak, now moving on to that Jet. I mean, how was that playing Jet for what felt like the first time in a lifetime?
Yeah, so I actually used to be a duelist when I played in Brazil a couple years ago. I wasn't the best at it, therefore I changed to Sentinel. But now with how the game has been played, we kind of need two duelists to be able to play uh, the way that the game is supposed to be played right now. And I was the person on the team that had the skills that they could play duelist. I was doing really good in scrims. The first match was kind of tough, was kind of rusty, but hopefully I'm gonna get there.
I mean, I saw the swap at the very end, you know, going into map number 2 was a whole new day. It's a JP that we know and love. What made you choose Vito though? Because out of all the agents that you could have selected, that one seemed like the most wild pick, especially knowing that you're going into this map of Corrode that quite literally Ohio State took you the distance before.
Yeah, I think that the Vito pick was basically because right now, as a Sentinel, it's really hard to hold sites. Now every team is playing double duelist, they have double dive, it's really hard to hold. And the best way I can help my team is to be able to play a little bit more aggressive and try to go for one pick. And Vito allows me to stay on a little bit longer, so I can try to get the pick and then get out without dying. So I think that Chamber and Vito and those kind of Sentinels are going to be played more because it's just how the meta is right now. It's really hard to hold sides to Cypher, KJ, and the other Sentinels.
Listen, man, any excuse to see more JP Chamber, and I'm happy, man. I love seeing on that agent. So
yeah, I'm trying to. My coach doesn't let me play Chamber. I don't know why.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes in a room with Seth. We can get more Chamber for you.
Oh no. Another question before we start to close things out here. JP, when you guys started on that role, we saw what I think is the first of hopefully many 13-0, something that is almost unheard of in Valorant. Is this something you expected moving into this map, or is this more of a surprise to you guys as well?
Honestly, I didn't even notice it was 13-0 to the end. I don't think we aim to like 13-0 every time. We just play round by round and try to do our best. We played the best on 13 rounds in a row, so that's good. But yeah, I don't think we aim to 13-0 anyone. We just aim to play the best Valorant we can. And today was a good day. It was a good showing.
All right. Hey, I think that's a great way to look at it, and to always be a little bit more, I want to say comfortable, I think is a huge way to look at it. So, next week you are going up against Boise State, I believe, is your next matchup there. Final thoughts on how that match is going to go. Are you guys confident? Are you guys kind of looking forward to it? Or after this match today, are you guys just saying it's going to be easy?
I wouldn't say it's gonna be easy. I think that everyone in the league has a good level, and everyone in here deserves to be here. And I think that now we're gonna start building up this momentum, and hopefully we play better than we did today. I don't really think about the people we're gonna play against. I just wanna make sure we are playing the best Valorant that we can, and hopefully we improve and we show you guys even a better game. Maybe 2 13-0s, who knows?
Oh, I was about to say, I don't know how you improve on a 13-0, but 2 in a row, that'd be a whole different story. Thank you very much, JP, for the interview. Congratulations on your victory, and we'll see you next week, possibly.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Angel, your favorite player on the mic, and I mean, my God, well deserved.
I mean, listen, everyone type WJP in chat, okay? That's what we need. That's what we need more of in this world, but... listen, for St. Clair, I mean, this was a phenomenal win, and I think it gives you a really good kind of eye into the team. It's the one kind of joy about getting to chat with these guys, is especially for St. Clair. They're all so open and ready to just talk and give you a reason to appreciate this team. So, you know, shout outs to St. Clair. I mean, it was a phenomenal win today, and reminder, introductory win here in the spring split for St. Clair. They finally rise to that 1-1 spot in the rankings with a lot of potential moving forward. You know, we're talking about a team that we know can make these deep runs, and we're excited to see it. And for Ohio State, I mean, let's not forget, this is still a team to contend with. It's just, you have an off week, and we can give them off weeks sometimes.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, it's also pretty much strength of schedule. You heard it from JP himself saying, hey, you know, we're looking to compete. We're looking at the top squad, and if you run into these top dogs, it's always going to look a little bit rough. We'll see how they are in the future, but I know more matches are on the horizon as Division 1, Valorant, and League, of course, I want to give a big shout out to them too, will continue throughout the coming weeks, so make sure to stay tuned to all the socials to see which teams will be playing throughout. And we appreciate everyone who did tune in here tonight. My name is Orbital. With me is Ancient Angel. We had Chippy on the production, I believe, as well as Potate on the observation. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in tonight. We'll see you all next week.
Firing shots high caliber round. If you know what's best, then you better bet down.